Video streaming, audio in three. I don't know why I'm giving you a countdown if I'm going to be the one talking. Anyway, three, two, one. Welcome to episode 102 of the Degenerates Clubhouse. You know what we never do? We never, like a lot of other podcasts, I'm your host, Armando Ramirez, and this is my co-host, Aaron Jack. Like, we don't do the, soft introductions. We always just kind of go.
Yeah, we just get right into it.
And
Hard and fast.
Yeah, hard and fast, the way we like to do things.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's better if we don't put our names out there.
Why not? Is it because we do say silly shit, or?
No, I was just a little joke.
Okay.
Little commentary on the joke preceding it.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. Well, anyway, moving on to the world of
Florida man, causing mayhem when he can, driving drunk as a rule, alligators in his pool, look out, here comes the Florida man, whoa!
that shit's a fucking mess. Florida man, pigeons painted pink spotted in Pembroke Pines Park. Holy shit, this guy was hard on the alliteration.
Wait, that was amazing. Say that again.
Pigeons painted pink spotted in Pembroke Pines Park.
So how is it that with all the easy to say things that you've stumbled over in the past, that one you just rolled through twice?
No,
No
sometimes
problems.
for me, the ones I fuck up are words or like names that like last week there was some fucking weird. Anyway, moving on. Among the green landscape of C.B. Smith Park in Pembroke Pines was something that stuck out just a bit on Thursday, actually quite a lot. Parkgoers were shocked to see two pigeons whose feathers had been dyed pink. They are now just a bright target for predator animals, said Susan Otto with Palm Beach Parrot and Bird Rescue.
So first of all, have you had many interactions with pigeons? Like, I don't think pigeons are in places you've lived, have they?
No, they're more of like a downtown LA thing, and you know you've encountered them, but not like it wasn't like a daily thing.
So they are in downtown LA. So they really are just like flying rats.
They're flying rats. They got to be where there's a lot of shitty food and water. Like,
yeah, I mean they're all over the place in Philadelphia and New York, and I still remember going to 30th Street Station in Philadelphia. It's the train station. And it was like not our whole, there was like 7 or 8 of us on the wrestling team that were going to a summer camp in Virginia. And our coach was a weirdo and loved trains. And he's like, yeah, we're going to take a train to Virginia because it's completely not practical. That was the way he just explained it to us. And one of the suburban kids who'd never been in a city was, we're sitting there like waiting for a train to get there. And there's pigeons fucking everywhere. Like I don't know how they get in, but they're pigeons.
They're like inside the building.
They find a way. Oh yeah, and it's the main area is this massive like cathedral ceiling.
Yeah.
And like
so they got plenty of space to
fly. Yeah, it has to be hundreds of feet high.
Yeah.
And this pigeon swoops down and lands right next to him. His name was Mike Raschuti. He was a sophomore, and fucking Mike Raschuti starts freaking. He's like, "What the fuck? There's a bird in there." And we're like, "Yeah, Mike, it's a pigeon. Why is there a bird in the train station?" Because like they're pigeons, they just get everywhere. He's like, "How did the pigeon get in? Did it go through the revolving door?" Like, no, there's probably a hole. And I just remember this suburban kid freaking out because he couldn't process the fact that there was what he perceived to be a wild animal inside the train station, and it's like, that's not a wild animal. That is a flying rat.
Yeah,
like this is their climb. So it's just one, I wouldn't have really thought there would be pigeons in Florida, and 2, like, what is the motive here?
Making them pink?
Yeah, are they trying to? Were they trying to make the pigeons prettier? Are they trying to like literally paint them for predators, like this person's saying? Like, what is the thought process?
It's
like,
I
know
Halloween. They're getting festive. They're making them pink and different colors just to kind of like, hey, they got a costume on.
Yeah, but it's Halloween. It's not Pride.
That's true. Well, you don't know. It's Florida. There's gotta be, that the element out there in Florida. They party like fucking nuts. They're doing crazy drugs. They're riding alligators in their pool and all that shit. So, anyway, the bizarre sight is no laughing matter, according to Otto.
Ooh.
Her rescue has taken in another bird with dyed feathers that was also captured in the area of Pembroke Pines. These are animals that are raised in captivity. They are not wild, Otto explained. They are
Oh.
not supposed to be released by the wild because they're not native species, and they can also fend for themselves. The dye, she said, probably won't cause harm, but the birds likely can't survive on their own in the wild. Otto speculates they may have been may have been used for a gender reveal event.
Oh my God,
That's
they're
funny.
right. She's right. That is what it is.
Yeah,
She's smarter than us.
yeah.
Some crazy fucker was like, so first of
So
all,
that means they've had to have like 10 of them in pink and 10 of them in blue, or something, right?
well, no, because it's to reveal, so they know what the gender is, right? It's like that shit. Like instead of having a balloon that goes up and it pops and it's blue confetti or pink confetti, they were like, we know. First of all, this is the wife's idea. She's like, babe, I really know what I want. I want to release a bunch, like 10 pink doves for our baby girl. And he's like, ooh, 10 doves, that's kind of expensive. Like, we're going to get the Walmart doves. Fucking pigeons. And, like, him and one of his buddies went and captured some pigeons. And I hope those pigeons, on their way out, just fucked up their whole gender reveal party.
Yeah.
Those parties are dumb as shit.
Just shat everywhere.
Like, at this point, how many massive wildfires have been started because of gender reveal parties?
I have a customer who has a actual speedster, like a dragster vehicle. Like he's got this recreational.
No, they want to be called non-binary now.
Non-binary?
Yeah.
What does? Who does?
You can't call them dragsters anymore.
Oh, I get you. That's a good joke. I over my head it went. But no, he's got a dragster, and
Just like the pink pigeons.
apparently what he did was they put some kind of weird, I don't know, dye or paint into the whatever element that causes the smoke to come out of the back of the car when it takes off, and so they dyed it a certain color, and apparently that paint fucked up the paint on his vehicle on this expensive dragster thing, and so now he's got to paint or buy to. That's Violet.
Yeah, it's just gonna be in the background of the whole episode.
I fucking hate. Sometimes I just want to tranquilize this dog. Seriously.
Give her some kava.
No. Kava, get her really stoned. Give her some fucking edibles. Anyway, that was it for Florida Man. Moving on to the world of Ask Reddit. Aaron, Reddit question number 1.
Yeah.
What is something very hard but very doable for most people?
Interesting. This is my first time hearing the question. Very hard. Do you have one? Let me think about it.
Yeah. So I think just running a 5K, it like most people just don't put the time in to like even jog a mile or whatever, and it's like going from 0 to a 5K is very easy, but a lot of people don't do it. And you got people that do the 5Ks for the charity events and stuff, but they just walk them. It's like if you just put a little effort in, you could do it. It's not that hard to do. It really isn't.
Well, I think even forget a 5K. I think even just doing a marathon is not.
Yeah.
That, and that's because the place where particularly guys fuck themselves up is they try to go too fast. They're like, oh, I'm gonna set a record. Oh, I want to keep up with these people ahead of me, and then that's where they run into trouble. But if your goal is simply to finish it and no specific time, like we're built, like as humans, we're built to go very long distances.
Yeah.
Like we have sweat glands so we can regulate our body temperature. Like we've got all these advantages, and if you just kind of set your ego aside and you're just like, I'm just gonna finish this, and you don't worry about trying to keep up with other people or show up your friend or whatever, it's not that bad.
Yeah. I remember when we did the Flagstaff half marathon thing. Like to me, that was like a further out goal to reach, and man, did I fucking die! But
yeah, but you finished.
Finished.
No, you definitely did. Like we finished that 100%. We finished that.
We did,
and we ran most of it too.
Yeah.
It was just, and that was because I remember the time you were so bummed. You're like, oh God, I didn't run the whole thing, whatever. And you cheered up a little bit because I was like, Mondo, do you remember Cain Velasquez in Mexico City? You're like, yes, like the Mexican heavyweight champ, renowned for his cardio, and he gassed out at altitude.
Yeah. Are you saying I have a body like Cain Velasquez?
I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm confirming that.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, so what's your answer? What's very doable? Something very hard but very doable for most people.
You know, I think like a lot of the home improvement stuff
Uh-huh.
is very doable. It's kind of like just anything where it seems really big and like insurmountable.
It's daunting. It's like, holy shit.
But every little part of most home improvement things are actually fairly simple.
Yeah.
Like if you had someone show it to you, and now there's YouTube for all this shit.
Uh-huh.
It's not that hard to do the one part, and it's just figuring out, okay, well, this is how you do this one little thing, and this is how you do the next little thing, and the next and next. And
Would
like,
you say you did most of your learning that way, like through YouTube?
a
Like
lot of it, dude?
tutorials and
still
stuff?
am.
Yeah.
Dude, I just put in a fucking French drain system by myself.
Yeah.
Like exterior French. I mean, well, not okay. Hold on. I
95
retract that.
95% by ourselves.
You helped with the trench digging
Mhm.
a bit,
Yeah.
but like that passed inspection.
Yeah, that's one step closer to
But any of that stuff, it's like really. I think the two things that are holding people back are, one, like you said, it's daunting, and they're like, oh, I could never do that.
yeah.
But the information's out there, and if you just go and learn, then and you take the time to kind of absorb it and really like think through, like, okay, this is how I do it. It's not that hard. But the other part where people, particularly when homeowners try to do things and where they fuck up, is that they just do not pay attention to details.
Mm-hmm.
There's always like these seemingly small things where if you're just like, oh, that's not important, or you don't pay attention, or you forget that part, that will fuck everything up.
Yeah.
And it's like, so if you just kind of get over that fear, and then are just very detail oriented, and you're not cutting corners and you're not doing it sloppily, then you can learn so many things.
Yeah.
But it is hard. And in my place, I'm still scared about that French drain system I put in. Like, it should work. It should be 100% good. And I still have like nightmares of the basement flooding. I'm like, no.
It's funny, we're reading this my employer is making us read these books, and the very first book, the dog awful writer, she's like a college psych professor, something or other, and she writes this book about two different. Anyway, long story short is a lot of people don't like to be challenged, or they want to take the easy road, and so like to learn something new, it's like it's gonna hurt. Like when you work out, like it's gonna hurt. You get sore, but your body gets better over time. But people are scared of that kind of the effort,
Oh, and it does. It also takes time, because even with the home improvement stuff, it's like, yeah, you could watch like the 2-minute and 30-second Lowe's video where they're like, yeah, and you just do this and this and this, and meanwhile they've glossed over like 50 different things.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can watch, the 57-minute one where like a pro contractor is going to go over every detail, and yeah, it might be a little bit annoying, but God, it makes a difference when you're learning all those details.
Yep. Some of the Redditors' answers to that question are: user Davos lost fingers. Get it? Davos, he didn't have any fingers in Game of Thrones. Anyways, people admitting they're in the wrong. Yeah. That's hard. It's hard to do. Again, going back to doing something that's painful, it's like, you better just avoid it, User Incredible Platypus writes, it makes me a little sad that nobody has said dicks yet. Huh? What is something very hard but very doable for most? All right. Okay.
Yeah, that was the first pun I thought of, and I thought, even I,
You're above that.
Who will go to usually the lowest common denominator for dick jokes, will pass over that.
Yeah.
Much like I'm assuming women have passed over that commenter's dick.
Yep. User.
I'm saying, what was his name?
That one was Incredible Platypus.
I'm saying Incredible Platypus is 100% a virgin.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he's on Reddit, so.
Do you think that? Never mind. User livid _ bowl _ 3296 writes, having a consistent exercising schedule. Yeah,
That's true.
I
It is
think
real hard.
I think for me, once you kind of develop the routine, it's harder to break away from it. But it's getting into that, kind of sucks. But
The nice thing for me with that, I have this little Aura ring.
mm-hmm.
So it'll tell me, like, it has a calorie goal based on how much I've slept and kind of where I'm at and everything. And the nice part about that is, like, I had to move, I think I did like 3,000 pounds of rocks yesterday. Not a traditional workout. It could still be part of our
Well, you know what, dude? What's Francis
exercise program.
Francis Ngannou used to like lug sand since he was like 8 years old or some shit, you know. And he
Yeah,
like,
so I could be heavyweight champion of the world soon.
just keep lugging sand.
Yep.
Keep building houses. That was it for Reddit question number 1. Reddit question number 2 is, what in weddings makes you cringe?
God, so many things.
Yeah.
It's like kind of.
That's why it's an easy answer.
It's really like what in weddings doesn't make you cringe.
Uh-huh.
Geez, I mean, like, let's see, like bridesmaids dresses.
Uh-huh.
Most best man speeches.
Yeah.
When the thing. What is it? It's like when is it the groom that's like removing like the garter?
Uh-huh.
Like I'm like why is this
Yeah.
happening right now?
Well, I think
guys do this in the privacy of your bedroom in like 20 minutes.
it's supposed to be symbolic in like, oh, this is our first night banging because we're married, and like, oh, I'm taking off her clothes. It's such a but
it's like you don't have to. Yeah, that is not an in public thing. Don't do
Yeah.
it symbolically. Do it like literally in like 30 minutes. Just you
Well-
know what, guys. Just go ahead. The
Yeah.
first one will be quick. It's fine. Go and you can come back and we
Yeah.
can continue on.
well, that, and also by the time they've gotten married, they probably banged their, like, let's be real. A lot of people nowadays are not celibate till marriage. It's like they're fucking beforehand and they get married. It's like
No,
do-
I'm saving myself until I'm
you're
married.
fucking lying second.
I
shit.
am. So and
Yeah.
that's also why I have so much Reddit karma points is
Are
because
you saying your name?
I'm one with the community.
Are you saying your username is Incredible Platypus from the previous?
That was me. I just added myself.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Like the flower tossing thing, it's like the women get all crazy, like, oh my god, I'm gonna be, if I catch this thing, I'm gonna be next to get married. It's like, no, you're probably not. That's never held true.
Wedding DJs, cringe as fuck.
The music they play, yeah, the wedding DJs. Well, DJs in general are kind of cringe to me. The ones that get on the mic, like, you know. Anyway, but.
Live bands at weddings sometimes pretty cool.
Oh yeah, live
Particularly
bands.
like when they have their own like kind of vibe and they're sort of
Yeah.
doing their thing. That's cool, but yeah.
Yeah, live band over DJ. A 99, let's just say 100 out of 100 times I'd rather have a live band than a DJ. And they could be playing shitty music and it's still better than a DJ.
You know the one thing. Let me retract everything.
Okay.
Everything about weddings is cringy, except on occasion when the bride and groom have written their own vows. Sometimes that's not cringy, cause like it is cringy, but when it's so sincere,
Yeah.
and they're really like we're gonna fucking do this thing, like
Yeah.
we're gonna have our whole lives / probably like 1.5 to 2 years together, and like we really mean that, and they're like so invested. Sometimes that just transcends being cringy, cause
Yeah.
it's like a special moment.
Do you remember Dennis Dion and Heather Dion's wedding in Vegas?
No, I don't think. Do I remember that they got married in Vegas?
Did you go to it? I don't
No.
know. Oh. That wedding, when they did their vows, I think everybody was like teary-eyed, like both all the Lancers, and we're all like, you know, fresh out of college or still in college, and when they did their vows to each other, everyone was like the greatest, one of the nicest weddings I've been to. Violet says, hi everybody. Let's see what some of the users on Reddit have had to say about that. User Fartfig Newton writes, guests who take pictures of the ceremony with a fucking iPad.
Oh, that is bad. Jesus.
Yeah, that is fucking cringy as shit. You know what's funny is when our brother Paco got married, he had like one of them drones flying in to take pictures and video shit. But the sentiment was nice to get like kind of candid pictures from different angles. That would have been cool. But we did it on the beach, so you're contending with the sound of the waves and the water and all this shit hitting the sand. And on top of that, the drone was not silent. It was like very, very noisy, and it was like 2 feet above where everybody was sitting. So we heard the drone, we heard the waves and the water and all that shit, but I could not hear anything that was going on in the actual wedding. We could barely hear the pastor or whoever did the services, and we couldn't hear them doing their vows and all that shit. It was just like that. It kind of sucked. I mean, I think the intention was nice. The sentiment of doing a beach wedding was nice, but
Mondo, should I let her out? That's gonna.
she's just gonna fucking make noise. Yeah, I guess. Let me go fucking.
Mondo does not mean that, listeners. Hopefully he cuts this part out. But on behalf of Armando, I'm telling you he does not believe in animal cruelty.
Shut the fuck up.
I swear. Jesus Christ.
I hit her a couple times. Fuck. You need to fucking behave. No. No.
She's a puppy. She doesn't know
I
what the
don't
fuck's
give two
going on.
shits. She's got to learn the hard way. Anyway.
You know what else wasn't cringy at a wedding? I'm trying to remember. Like it was one of the players, like the female players I coached the first year when I was in Ohio, invited me to her wedding, and she was like Lebanese, and it's like her whole side of the family at the wedding did this like traditional Lebanese dance, like they were in a like big circle on the outside, and they were all rotating one way, and then people on the inside were like dancing, and they were rotating the other way, and it looked cool as fuck.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that was cringe.
No, it was awesome.
Yeah, I agree. The ethnic cultural wedding stuff is way fucking nicer to be a part of and to see as a like instead of the boring fucking traditional like American weddings we do. Like I really dig the ones where they do the dancing shit or like even like let me retract what I was about to say.
Kill some goats.
The one thing that was cringe is somebody, I forget who, I think it was like my mom's cousin was getting married in Vegas, and then some relative of theirs decided that they wanted to do like a guitar, like it wasn't part of the wedding thing, but it's like they took their guitar and they're like, I want to do this song for the wedding couple, and she would just do this song and sing to the top of her lungs, and it was like rolling your eyes, like, okay, you're detracting, like the attention is on you, it's not on the people getting married. That was kind of cringy.
Yeah, it's bad.
Let's see some of the other answers on Reddit. User Ethan Toad writes, when someone else proposes to their significant other, like, why take all the attention from the bride and groom and put it on yourself instead? It's so selfish. Yeah, that's kind of fucking shitty. Although I've never been to a wedding where someone proposes to somebody at a wedding. Have you ever seen that, encountered that? No. Last one I'll read. User Corbet writes, releasing of doves into the sky. At my wedding, I will release rats into the crowd. It's funny how it just ties back to the Florida man question from earlier.
I'm going to release pink pigeons.
Pink rats? Just put pink rats everywhere. Well, anyway. That was it for Ask Reddit. Our final segment of the day is Binge or Purge, and we're going to be reviewing The Bear. I forget was it on Hulu or?
It was on Hulu. It
The
is
Bear.
on Hulu.
The Bear. Aaron mentioned it in one of like the kind of speed round Binge or Purges, but we're going to give it a little more of a deep dive into this episode. I think both of our opinions are very favorable on the show as a whole.
Yes, chef.
Fucking asshole. Yeah, the principal actor. You know who impressed me? I didn't know who the fuck she was. Never seen her before in anything in my life. Was the black girl. She was fucking really good. Like she was really good. I think she was outside of the main guy. Like she was like for sure my favorite. That and Maddie Matheson. So. Little brief on the show. It's basically revolves around a guy who basically his older brother commits suicide and he inherits his sandwich shop, and this sandwich shop is like a local kind of divey
in Chicago.
It's called Chicagoland, and it's like known for its
it's called the
Chicago beef sandwich. But this guy came from a background in like I guess fine dining, and he was like rated one of these like top chefs, and basically when his brother commits suicide, he's like, okay, fuck, I got to go back to Chicago and continue on with this restaurant. He enlists the help of this black gal to help run the because basically he goes into the restaurant, and the restaurant's a shit show. It's like it's mismanaged. There's a lot of different personalities that just kind of like got used to doing things their way and not like the right way. And so he has to go in there and fix a lot of shit. And fantastic job. Fantastic show. God damn it, Violet, sometimes. What do you think?
Okay, so first of all, the thing that I think stands out the most about the show is just the tone and intensity,
Yeah.
right? I guess they were trying to accurately depict how crazy and intense, the backside of restaurants can be,
Yeah.
like the kitchen, and so there's lots of angry shouting, lots of yelling. Everything's very high paced. I mean, it's like Jesus Christ.
Like chefs and the people in the back that we aren't as patrons of restaurants, we aren't privy to like what's going on behind the scenes, and there's basically just a giant subculture of high paced people cursing, people just like always in like levels of stress that you wouldn't imagine, and like all we know as fucking patrons is like, oh, I ordered a steak, where is it? It's late, I want my food, where is it? Why is it cold? Why is it wrong? And they don't realize like all the craziness going on behind the scenes,
Well, and they shoot everything very close up. So the show, a lot of it feels very claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
They're using a pretty wide angle lens, so like you feel like you're just, kind of a not even a fly on the wall. You feel like you're just jammed in that environment with them. Everything's very close quarters. There's a lot of lingo in the show. That's what I was kind of joking. They're always saying, yes, chef. Corner, meaning they're coming around the corner. Behind.
That claustrophobic effect, though, it really, like you said, it's all close shots. It makes you feel like you're almost like in the way. You're like, fuck,
Yeah.
I want to get out of the way and make sure that they keep doing their thing. I don't want to, fuck this operation up.
Well, and I think that comes together really masterfully. It's maybe the 7th episode where they shoot the entire thing in one take.
I think the very beginning, like the first 2-3 minutes, are like just normal shots, like the split shots, whatever. And then they go into this scene once they get into the restaurant, and it just kind of follows, the goings on. The chef yelling at this chef, and this chef goes off camera and does something, and then they come back into the. My favorite is Rich or Ricky that gets fucking
Richie,
stabbed.
yeah.
He gets stabbed. Fucking, I just got stabbed. He has to have
stabbed in the ass because they didn't say behind.
Yeah. And then Maddie Matheson has to patch him up with some fucking. Oh, it wasn't Maddie Matheson. It was one of the other kind of helpers or dishwashers or something.
Yeah, and there is this feeling which it apparently is very genuine to the chef experience, that like they're just constantly like minutes away from everything being a disaster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
and in fact, in that episode, the one you're talking about, the 7th episode,
yeah,
all hell breaks loose. Like literally, all hell breaks loose, and everyone's losing their shit, and people, not to spoil it, but people had enough. They have enough, and then they just kind of like blow up, and then they move on. And but
so the other thing, whoa, Violet, you can't do that, Violet. The other thing that I think is impressive, and I actually enjoyed about the show, they do a very good job of adding a lot of emotional weight. I mean, you feel the stress the characters are feeling.
yeah,
You feel, I mean, and they're all kind of dealing with different things. I mean, different kind of emotional baggage that they're bringing into this restaurant experience.
yeah.
But it kind of ends there. There's no like weird forced romances. I mean, most of the relationships are not most. I guess all of them are platonic. There is one maybe sort of vague hint of a romance, but nothing actually happens. Which is rare. Like I can't remember the last.
Are you talking about the pastry chef and then the other black?
Yeah.
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 I think they're a good couple too. I think I was kind of like go. It's like
Mondo, why do you think they're a good couple?
because they both have a passion for cooking and they're
They should, because they've got similar interests
and they're both nice people. They're both like kind people behind this demeanor of
got
like
a lot of similarities. Is that what you're saying?
they both happen to be black. Is that what you're trying to lead me into? But yeah, but that's
no,
not
I'm saying they love the culinary arts. What are you talking
fucking
about?
asshole. But
Racist.
no, I was really rooting. I was like, fuck yeah, like he's the pastry chef's like a nice guy. He's well-meaning and he takes his job seriously. You can tell he's trying to get better at his craft and all these things and tips and tricks. And he, asks her for help here and there. And
Although I was like, why the fuck does this little sandwich shop need like its own special pastry chef?
he's making donuts and shit. Like what the fuck? But yeah, no, I was rooting for that. What do you call them when you? I was shipping them. I was trying to ship them.
Herd chef.
To be
Herd.
cool.
That's my favorite of all their sayings. You didn't remember that one? My favorite saying is when they're acknowledging that they understand Like they really get what the other person's saying. They go, "Heard, chef."
Yeah. Yeah, I missed it, man. I have to watch it all over again. Anyway, we're back on supposedly, but great show. It looks like there's going to be a season 2. At least the way that this season 1 ended, it's like kind of like, haha. And next season, I really liked it. Some people may or may not know that Matty Matheson, the kind of celebrity chef personality guy, is one of the like executive producers, and he actually put himself into the show as like this kind of like
He's a handyman.
he's like a handyman, and he's like, but he's got aspirations that he wants to join the team like officially and be like some kind of a what'd you call him, like a prep chef or sous chef or some shit like that. Funny, like just the Matty Matheson in person, the personality is fucking hilarious, and the character he plays is pretty much Matty Matheson. I mean, he's not playing anything different. Just loud and he's a big guy.
So I will say this for anyone who does try to watch it. Jeez.
Gotta love OBS. But yeah,
Well,
very fast, very, and you know what's funny is
let me. Sorry, I was trying to look at the thing. Between OBS and then Violet's going like full, like trying to eat the cord on my shorts. I was getting distracted. What I was trying to say is, by the end of it, it like when the last episode kind of hit, I was like, holy shit, that show was amazing.
yeah.
But it took me until that very last episode where they kind of tied everything together, where I was like, oh shit, that was great. I love that.
It's essentially because it's only 8 episodes and they're less than half hour, so it's essentially a very long movie if you kind of watch it that way. Very very bingeable, binge for me for sure. I always have I told Aaron before we started recording this shit that like I've always had this fascination with that culture, the culinary culture, the chef culture. In a former life, I would have been a chef. And so the subject matter for sure intrigued me because I wanted to see. I've read about it in Anthony Bourdain's, what was it, Kitchen Confidential. I've read about the culture and how it can kind of be behind the scenes. But watching it in action in an actual show was kind of interesting. I also like the movie, if you've ever seen it, movie Chef with, what's that fucking guy's name?
Matt Damon.
Not Matt Damon, you motherfucker.
Jack Black.
No. I fucking hate you. Oh, God. What's his name? I'm pulling it up.
Anthony
right now.
Bourdain.
Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau. That's what the next one I was going to say. I actually knew that. I did know that.
I didn't until anyway. He's another movie that kind of gives the
Mark
insights.
Ruffalo.
You start naming actors. Chris Pratt. Anyway, really good show, really bingeable. I would say one of my favorites recently, for sure. You know what's going to be interesting is that at the end of the year, we're coming up on December. We're probably going to do another like year in review type of episode, and we're going to have to rank all of these shows because this
Tier list.
yeah this year's been kind of an interesting. There was a lot of hits and a lot of misses this year in TV shows. We have a lot of time left, Aaron. We're only about 35 minutes in. Did you want to bring up the thing?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Sorry. For the last 10, 15 minutes, Violet has been on my lap just being an absolute nut job. She's all over the place. She's like, I'm going to chew the mic cord. I'm going to chew your shorts. I'm going to, hey. No.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Anyhow.
raising a puppy has been very challenging. Very, very challenging. A lot of frustration on my part. I just got so used to being solo, single, doing whatever I want to do when I want to do it, and this fucking puppy nightmare is...
Well, and you also got maybe the second highest energy breed
yeah.
in the whole freaking world. And you know what? I was going to mention that.
No, I knew that.
Or say anything, but and then I realized, I'm like, you know what? I don't think you'd really listen to my opinion anyway, so I might as well just I'll just let you do your own thing.
It wasn't like I chose the breed specifically. It was like my sister's dogs were are healers, and they had a litter. I was like, hey, you're getting a dog. I was like, oh, all right.
No, I understand. It was just I was like, oh, you're gonna try to raise that dog in a 1-bedroom apartment. You know what? No, that's okay. I will keep any opinions to myself. I think in the long run it'll be great for you. And yeah, this
Next 2 years are gonna be fucking yeah. There's a lot of challenges for the next couple years for sure. But here's the hoping that this fucking dog, gets me laid, like taking her walking somewhere, and some chick's like, "Ooh, I like your dog. Can I touch it?" I can touch my dog.
I mean, I think just showing that you could care for another living thing and not having it die in your charge,
Yeah.
is a benefit because I don't know if you immediately give off that vibe.
You think I give off a vibe like I'm some fucking serial killer, like
I didn't say a serial killer, just that like
animal killer?
you'd like live in a place with concrete walls and like pallet furniture and just not give a fuck about it. But look, there's a living little creature that you're feeding, you're tending to. You're telling her to shut the fuck up.
I treat it like an adult, or like I don't treat it like a puppy. I don't treat it like a little kid. I treat it like, listen, motherfucker, you're gonna obey me.
And puppies do notoriously respond well to that. So
She's very good one-on-one. If it's just me and her, and she's pretty obedient. It's when there's anything else or anybody else. It's kind of like when you want to pull off a magic trick but you can't pull it off. But when you're practicing it, you can do it perfectly and flawlessly. But like,
no,
yeah,
dogs in general, and especially puppies, their attention, they're always going to gravitate towards what is the most interesting thing to them. And when there's something new that's out of their normal routine, it's that immediately becomes the most interesting thing to them. So it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
But like even Finn is 6 now, and he still has some of those issues.
Yeah. I want her to eventually grow out of those things. I want her to be a lot more obedient.
This type of breed probably will be. I mean, she should be much better behaved than Finn when she gets older.
Yeah. Should. Keyword should. I'm doing everything in my power now to get her there. But anyway, as I mentioned, did you want to discuss that Draymond Green thingy?
If you want.
Well, we got plenty of time. We may as well just fill in with some random shit.
Yeah, it was. It's just a whole. The NBA loves drama and soap opera elements, and it's kind of, particularly now since they're just playing preseason games and no one gives a fuck. So people get very invested of like, oh, this player's trying to do this and that and whatever. So, and one of the big news in the NBA world right now was a few days ago. This report came out that there was a physical altercation at the Warriors practice, and people were like kind of glossed over it because they, that doesn't. Who knows what that means, right? Maybe it was just a shoving match. Like that shit happens all the time.
Another NBA player dating a Kardashian or some shit. As the world turns.
But then a short video gets leaked to TMZ, and you can see it's clearly shot from up in the stands, and it shows you. There's no audio, so you don't know what's being said, but like you can see like Draymond Green kind of from across the court, and Jordan Poole they're yelling stuff at each other. And then, like, Draymond, like, walks across, kind of rolls up on him, walks across the court, and, like, gets in his face. And then Poole, like, shoves Draymond Green in the chest. And just, if you're not familiar with those players, like, Draymond Green is a fairly big guy. Like, he's, like, 6'6", but very solidly built, kind of power forward.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Poole is a 6-foot guard, and I bet he weighs, like, maybe 170.
Yeah.
So when Jordan Poole shoves him, Jordan Poole just kind of goes backwards. And then right on the heels of the shove, Draymond Green does like almost what looks like a Superman punch. And it was fast. I was like, shit, Draymond Green, I didn't know you could move that fast. Like, why don't you do that on the court ever? But just Superman punch.
You want a Superman punch guys in the middle of a game?
No, I mean actually like move that quickly.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think that would go well if he did it in the game. But just like one punch just like drops Jordan Poole, and it does not look good. And so there's been this whole kerfuffle about like
kerfuffle.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it, a kerfuffle. In the media about like, oh, like you can't punch a teammate and like they're never going to recover from this, and they're going to have to trade probably Draymond Green and this, that, and the other. And it was just sort of interesting because like I obviously the sports media, particularly in the basketball media, like they don't have that much to report on right now.
Yeah.
So them sensationalizing this makes sense. But I'm also just seeing to how fans are responding to it in social media. I'm like, am I just old? Am I looking at this from a different perspective? Because watching it, I'm like, yeah, obviously not great. Like a much bigger and also should be older and more mature player just fucking clocking a younger teammate, a younger, smaller, weaker teammate.
Yeah.
Not great. But at the same time, I'm like, I could think of like 100 things Jordan Poole could have said where if that audio was in there, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I see how that all unfolded.
The NBA players to me are when it comes to like sports teams, like NBA players are like the biggest divas, like the biggest divas. There's much smaller teams, so personalities and egos are more kind of on the forefront than like a baseball team or a football team or.
Well, and it's a much more star-driven league because of that. Like, they in a way, it is justified because if a team gets just one star player, that's like millions and millions and millions of dollars more for that franchise.
Yeah.
And people buying tickets and like they're going, for most NFL teams, like you're not going just because there's one player. You're going because the team's good. But like it wouldn't be like, oh no, the Chargers traded. I don't know who the fuck's on the Chargers because why would I? But what are you eating, Violet? But it's not like, oh, the Chargers traded this one player. Now I'm not gonna go watch the Chargers anymore.
Yeah.
But like the NBA, that shit happens. Oh, that's the mic cord. No, Violet. That shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
So I think to some extent the diva-ishness is a little bit justified, and people really, I should say fans / white fans really do not like the fact that players, largely black players, have figured out their value in the NBA to a certain extent and are taking a lot more agency in their own careers. Like, what do you cut it out, Violet? But yeah, for real, it's like players in the NBA will now force trades, and they'll say, "I want to go play to this team.
I want to play. I want to play with this player."
Yeah, exactly. And fans white fans do not like it. It's like, and I don't know, that shit drives me a little bit crazy. And it's so I don't know. There's just like a lot of weird, what seems like conflicting opinions to me, because those same fans are like, the NBA is soft now, and like fucking back in the 80s and 90s they were real men and blah blah blah, and now it's like, okay, a punch was thrown in practice, and I mean, you were on sports teams. Like, how many punches did you see get thrown in practice?
Between players, like very few. You know what? It usually boiled down to, even on a football team, there's going to be one or two guys that are just divas. They're just fucking. They're just. There was this one guy in particular who was very talented. He was a running back, but he was like, his dad like raised him up, like bred him up to be like a good athlete, a good running back, and he always had like disciplinary issues with the coaches. Like he was always fucking getting into verbal fights with them, and like he quit on the team, and then he came back to join the team, and then he quit again, and he rejoined. It's just like you're just such a fucking big distraction, dude. Like you're good, but not to the point where you're like. You're making it all about you. This is a fucking team sport, and but I can't recall very often where there was like actual like fights between teammates. It was kind of like, everyone had their cliques, and that was it. It was just,
Oh, I saw that maybe like a dozen times
between your lacrosse players.
Any
between the chicks?
Like
you
fist
coach?
fights? No. Like kind of like dirty hits where like like in the flow of play, one of them just like trucking the other one. Yeah. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Would you can you say as a coach, like that person that got trucked deserved it, or was it more kind of like, hey, that's kind of dirty, like don't do that?
Probably more. Probably more in the latter.
Really?
Because it was usually felt like it was more like petty, but that's the other part. As a coach, like particularly with the girls, I didn't know all the behind the scenes shit that was going on.
Yeah.
Although one of the funniest ones I did One of the funniest ones I do remember was like I could tell like two of the better players on this the team in Ohio were like there's something going on, like they were like mad at each other, and I'm trying to figure out like what's happening. And I just go over and ask one of the other girls. I'm like, are Kristen and Demi fighting? Like what's going on? And they're like, and they explain it to me, and I just start laughing hysterically. Because basically what their argument was about
Was it a boy?
was no, not exactly. Sort of was Demi felt that they were roommates as well, and Demi felt that she should be able to do whatever she wanted in her half of the room. So she had her boyfriend over, and they were banging while Kristen was in her bed trying to sleep. And Kristen, very 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 Midwest, Michigan. Kristen was like, "What the fuck are you? You cannot." Have sex with your boyfriend while I'm trying to sleep in my bed. And Demi's like, I'm not doing it in your bed. It's in my bed. It's in my half of the room. And this has created a lot of tension. And I mean, if you'd watch, like you'd see me walk over to one of the girls and very concerned, ask this question, and then just start hysterically laughing. like this is the funniest shit.
Thanks, coach. You fucking asshole.
I did not try to help resolve at all. I'm like,
you can't. You gotta just stay out of it.
Yeah, you girls are gonna have to work this one out on your own.
Yeah, you can't.
But no, I didn't see any fist fights. Although there's one. We had one Cuban player who I could have completely seen her taking a swing at someone.
Really? She just
hell
like
yeah.
she had the Latin fucking fire
Yes.
in her.
Pardinas.
Pardinas? That was her last name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, hard for. And I'd only played football. I didn't play any other sports, so it's hard to think of other times where like teammate, like inter-team.
But I don't know. So what's just your take on that situation though? Like I feel like it's just like a team thing. It shouldn't. The fact that the video got out is really. I mean, because a lot of fans are like, "Oh, the Warriors care more about the video being leaked than the actual punch."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they just want to handle it on their own.
Yeah.
This is like team business. Like, fuck off. You're not supposed to know about this.
Yeah,
This is what they're saying.
The players and the coaches will probably figure out a way to either resolve it, or if it worst case scenario, if it does become a very big issue, then they that they force a trade or something like that. But again, that's as fans, it's not like we can influence any of that shit anyways. That's stuff that's like you said, leave them alone. It's their private stuff to figure out and let it be. Like, who cares?
But do you even think it's that big of a deal?
It is a big deal, but again, it's none of our concern really. Like, how does that I mean, unless you're like a diehard fan of whatever team those guys are in part of, then you probably who gives a fuck? It's whatever. It's like you said, it's drama that let them figure it out. Excuse me.
I guess so. I mean, it is tricky. I mean, when that like physical element is introduced into any sort of relationship. I mean, I think if it's a sort of man to woman like intimate relationship, it's done. You can't, right?
What do you mean, like a fight?
Yeah, no. So if hold on, Jesus Christ, Violet. If it's like there are their partners, like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, and a punch is thrown, it's like
It should be over.
that's just particularly if it's the man throwing the punch, but even the woman. There's some of these weird cases where it's like no, for real, because
Yeah.
like guys they don't feel like they have any recourse, but it's like, all right, like my wife is fucking crazy and she's like beating my ass and like pulled a kitchen knife on me, but like as a guy, no guy wants to be like,
I left her because she beat me. I left her because she was physical with me.
I'm the victim of domestic violence.
Yeah.
Stop trying to eat my drawstring, Violet. But like, so like that should just be over.
Yeah.
I feel like with friends, it's a little bit different. At least it was. I mean, I've seen friends that scrap and then they're just like, okay, whatever, and we get it out of their system. Famously, Karate Kid season 5, they were like, that's just one punch, and then they were like, okay, we're best friends now.
Famously, Karate Kid. That's funny.
So
Yeah, I mean, I've incited where I've gotten punched. I was so fucking drunk and I talked so much shit that I was like, yeah, I probably deserve getting punched, but whatever. Who cares? It wasn't
What
like
did you say? What'd you do, Mondo?
What did I do? The famous Ricky McDonald.
Oh, the teabag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think exactly. I think that you probably did deserve to get punched for that.
Yeah.
Did he hit you?
Yeah. He fucking punched me, but I was like literally laying horizontally on a couch, and so like the couch itself absorbed like the. I just kept laughing. It was like I didn't feel shit, you know.
Oh, see, I feel like now that would have been a big deal though. If one
The schools would have tried to get involved and shit, and
he would have reported you for sexual harassment
probably,
and then there's the physical altercation and all that. But like, it's funny. I was there when that happened. I didn't even remember him hitting you because we were just like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, but what the fuck am I gonna? I'm like, I don't care. Like, whatever. I incited it. I probably deserved it, and fucking so be it. Move on, squash the beef and move on. Wasn't like, oh my god, this. But right now, you're right. Like these days, if something like that would have happened, like at Whittier College or any college for that matter, oh my god, it's headlines. Look at this one person was physically
just to break down that whole incident in today's world. It was Armando
multiple things would have
exposed himself to a non-compliant party, rested his genitals on said parties. Was it his shoulder?
Forehead.
Oh god, that's even worse. Genital to forehead contact.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's sexual assault, Armando.
Yeah.
So you indecent exposure, sexual assault, which enraged the aggrieved party, Mr. Ricky McDonald, and then a punch was thrown in retaliation. So it's like we have like domestic violence, we have sexual assault. Everything was just that one, and meanwhile, all of us dumb fuckers are just like
laughing, pointing and laughing. Like, no one's trying to break it up or anything. He's like, haha, look at these idiots.
Exactly.
It happens.
And before we started, we were talking about the only time I ever actually punched anybody was we were having a meeting, and one of our should have been older and wiser fraternity brothers who was, I mean, he was at that point he was what, like 2 or 3 or 4 years out of college?
More, because he was let's see, he had pledged with 97. I'd say 5.
It was hard to at that point in his life. We're talking about Mr. Stephen Damari. He looked like he was somewhere in between like 28 years old and 74 years old.
Yeah,
it's very hard to tell depending on what stage of drunkenness and body grooming. He was a little scruffy. And we're having a meeting, and there's this like, what the fuck? How old was he? Like 29 or 35 or
whatever,
somewhere in that range. Like and this is at maybe noon on a weekend. Just like aggressively drunk. Will not stop talking. Will not stop interrupting as we're doing this meeting. And I'm just getting like more and more frustrated because I can't remember. There's something we all just wanted to get out of there to go somewhere, and I'm like keep trying to calm him down. I'm like, and finally, I made a cardinal mistake in dealing with any drunk person. Was I gave an ultimatum that you knew was going to be broken. I'm like, dude, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to punch you in the face.
You tell a drunk guy, press this button, I'm going to fuck you up. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to press the button.
Yeah. I mean, that was like guaranteeing, but that, and I remember at the time I was trying to like think through it. I'm like, I can't kick this fucking idiot out because I think he drove here. He's like hammered. I don't want him leaving and, so it's like I didn't, and also something about like, I don't really know all the ins and outs of what was going on in his life at the time. But I kind of gathered it wasn't great.
Yeah.
If you're
getting hammered on fucking noon on Sunday or something, it's probably not. Things are probably not good at home.
And the only place you have to go is like the college for. Not even. This was not a party, mind you. This was like a meeting minutes agenda, like planning out. Like, so anyhow, I did not want to kick him out, and then I made the mistake of giving an ultimatum, which he immediately broke. I mean, it was like seconds. It was like, if you don't shut the hey, all right. Like, I don't even know if I finished the sentence before he interrupted. And then I got up and very quickly crossed the room, and not unlike Draymond Green did a little bit of a flying Superman punch. The only difference was I really pulled a punch. I think more than anything, it just maybe startled him a little bit.
Yeah, caught him off guard. Like, oh shit, this fucking guy actually punched me.
But yeah, it didn't hurt him. I don't think it even left a mark because I was not trying to like break his face. It was just like it was that dynamic of having like a younger brother that just won't shut the fuck up, or you just want to like check him. Except it was this 30-year-old dude in her fucking fraternity house. Very weird, but
Yeah.
I don't know how or if that changed my relationship with Damari. I mean, we were never like really close or tight, so I don't.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm just really really happy about was a year or two after that, when it was my 21st birthday,
Oh.
and my drinks got spiked with 141, and I took tequila. On top of that, I puked on his washing machine, not in his washing machine, on his washing machine.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? As I don't know how he feels about things or the punch or anything, but on my
It's about
end,
even.
on my end, I'm like, you know what? I forgive anything he ever did.
You even the score. We're good. That's kind of what happens. You let them resolve. You let things like that resolve on their own, and and just move on. Well, do you have anything else to add to this episode, sir?
No, I just gotta go move like 4,000 pounds of rocks.
Do it. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching us on Twitch or YouTubes or whatever. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We will talk to you guys in a week. Bye-bye.